Hello friends, welcome back. Today we're going to serve an HTML file. If you haven't watched the previous two videos I've done in this section and you're hoping to get something out of this, I recommend that you watch the previous two videos. You can respond to requests using a file using the res.sendFile path method. You can put it inside app.get route handler. Behind the scenes, this method will set the appropriate headers to instruct your browser on how to handle the file you want to send, according to its type. Then it will read and send the file. This method needs an absolute file path. We recommend you use the node global variable underscore underscore and then all lowercase dir name to calculate the path like this. So absolute path is equal to dir name plus the relative path with the file and then the file extension. So send the views HTML file as a response to a GET request to the / path. So yeah, if we look over here, we can say send the views. So this is our relative path, and then this is our extension, and then this is underscore dir. Cool. So yeah, we want to send views index HTML file as a GET request to the / path. If you view your live app, you should see a big HTML heading and a form that we will use later with no style applied. You can edit the solution of the previous challenge or create a new one. If you create a new solution, keep in mind that Express evaluates routes from the top to the bottom and execute the handler at the first match. You have to comment out the preceding solution or the server will keep responding with a string. Okay, so what they're saying is that if you have two GET requests that go to the same route, so if I were to uncomment this one, then we would have both of them. This one would be the one that would run, but what we want to do is change it. So we're actually going to change this. I'm not going to keep this here because we don't need to send a single string. Now what we want to do is send a whole file. So res.sendFile. So here we have res.send. So we want to make this send file, right? Send file, and then we want to add the path in here, our path. Okay, but the thing is, we want our path to be, it needs to have the dir name, and then what we're going to do, dir meaning directory name. What we want to do is have the views to the index file. So here's our index file, and it has the form and that other stuff that we have set up previously. So here we want to change it. The path, we can't just say path. It needs to be, first off, the overall dir name, which is a global object, which means it basically says anything. So when it's localhost, it's going to be localhost. But when we're running it on our production server, it'll be frozenocean.heroku.com/whatever. And that's why we write dynamic path names. Okay. And so here we've got that, and then we want our relative path, the file name, and the extension. Okay, so here's the public, for the views. So we want to have our relative path, which will be views, because this is the relative path. And then the file name, which is index, and then the extension. It's an HTML file. And so if we save this, we should see in our local, and then we come back over here and we run our npm start, which is it runs our local server. You see we've got our hello worlds in here, and we have node listening on port 3000. We come over here and refresh the page, and it says no directory in place. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, this is the way that it was. The main thing that I'm forgetting is instead, if I look up here, it says desktop boilerplate npm, and there's no slash here, and that's what's messing us up. And so that can be solved by just adding it here. So I save this, press Command C to cancel our server, and then I'm going to run our server again. npm start works the exact same way for this project. And now if I refresh the page, we have everything that we need. And so this is what we're trying to make happen. What we're doing now is instead of just sending a single string, we're sending a whole HTML page, and that becomes what is our HTML page here. So hello HTML, it's like this guy. If we did hello HTML with an exclamation point, it would look like that. Okay, so I'm saving this, and then, well, it's working locally, that's great, but what we need to do now is push it to our production server, right? So we've got our production server is live and functioning on Heroku, so we use git to do that. We say git diff, we see that we've changed this, so we can say git status. That shows us that this server file has been changed, and the only thing that's changed is we've replaced this string, or this line of code with this line of code. So now we can say git add, and that says if we do git status, we can see that it's been added. So we're ready to commit, git commit -m, and we say send index HTML file rather than string on root git request. And then obviously the message isn't actually important. I just like to make it explicit because it makes your life easier one day. And so now we need to push this code. We could push it to GitHub so that we could have the production, everything in here. Like, we'll be pushing it to GitHub later, but for now, let's just push it directly to production. So git status, we say git push Heroku head master. Okay, so even though now, if we were to run this before it finishes playing, we're going to still just get hello express because we haven't changed it. Even though locally we stopped our server, so that's not working anymore. But now we're seeing the build succeeds, and we're seeing our Heroku server kicking into action. It's cleaning it up. It says the build succeeded. It exited with status of 143. I don't know what that means. We've got the hello worlds that we put in there, and we have it changed from starting to up. So we've changed our Heroku production app to have the right file. So if we refresh now, we have the proper HTML that we're looking for. So I can copy this and take it over to here and paste this in. And now we're moving forward. So yeah, now we've actually created a server, a node server, and we've deployed it to Heroku, and we have served our first HTML file. And so that's pretty exciting. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you in the next lesson.